So, DreamIt, what is it? What do we do? DreamIt is a startup accelerator. And basically what we say is we're helping great people build great companies. There's basically four things that we are going to provide if you're a part of our accelerator. Capital, everyone gets somewhere between $15,000 and $25,000 that goes to their founding team and their startup itself. That's really money to keep you alive and breathing to the end of the program, obviously. It's only for 3 months. And we're going to give you access to angels and VCs that are in our network and people that are familiar with DreamIt. Mentorship, every company gets a mentor, assigned one-on-one mentor that is tailored to what you're working on, someone who's been there and done that, serial entrepreneur, etc. We have coaches that come in. We have the DreamIt partners are all people who worked on startups before. They've had at least one exit, so they know how this whole thing works, beginning to end, and most of them are working on another one. From the community standpoint, you're going to have common workspace. We do our programs in Philadelphia, and we now do them in New York. And connections, free legal and accounting services while you're involved in the program, event speakers. And so you're going to be a part of the community while you're there. The process, there's applications. There's so you decide if you want to be a part of it. We decide if we want to be a part of it. We match your mentors and all of the other people that are going to be supporting you. First part of the program is really focused on you building your product and verifying you have product market fit. So even if you have something you've already built, we want you to go back and verify and validate what you're working on and that it's going to resonate. And then by the end of the whole experience, so part two is you're working on beta, you're going out and you are signing up customers, etc. And then at the end of the program, there's a big demo day and you present to a whole lot of people, most of which, probably 75% of them, are active investors. And hopefully you'll be able to raise your first round of funding following that program. For all of that, we take a 6% stake in your company. It's founders equity, so we sit on the same side as you, so that as you progress and as you develop, we have a chance to continue to advise you if you want us to, and there's no conflict of interest. Those are the people involved, all the minds behind it. This is the worst picture ever. We need a new one. The pictures and squares, those are the people that have been added most recently. So that's the crew. And basically that room, that's what our accelerator looks like before our stuff comes in. So we take a big room, throw a bunch of stuff in there. Everyone works with tables and chairs. And when we're done, we take it all out and we put it back in storage. 4 years, 65 companies founded. Over 2/3 are still in operation. We did 29 startups last year between May and December. So we've got a lot of momentum lately. 200 plus jobs being created, 32 million in funding. So all this stuff is kind of stuff that you will see typically in the press or whatever. This is where we've been. We started in 2008, going into 2012, a whole lot of new exciting things that we're going to be doing, which I'm about to talk about right now. One of those is Access, which is the follow-on to our program we ran last fall, which is we want to find minority-led startups, and we're going to launch 5 of those. Every one of our classes has 15 startups, 5 of those in every one of our classes coming up in 2012 and hopefully beyond. We're going to do at least 5 of those are going to be minority-led startups. We did this last year, last fall, as essentially a proof of concept with Comcast, and not only did we end up with 5, we actually had 7 of our 14. So it works when you say you want to go find us. So that's Access. I mentioned this before. We had 300 applications. All that funneled down to 5 companies that got launched. And if you look them up now, they've been covered across all the major press. They're in the process of raising somewhere around $2.5 million and in their seed rounds. And hopefully that's all going to work out very well for them very soon. These are the companies. In case anyone gets a chance to take a look, I think they're really cool. ElectNext, Quellia, MetaLayer, Quite, and The Trunk. Just very quickly, when I talked about disruptive things, I'll just give you a couple examples. Quellia is working on revenue optimization software for a very inefficient industry, which is landlords and property managers and figuring out how much to charge for rent. This is done by pen, paper, and wild-ass guesses. And so they have a fantastic model to deal with that. And that's just one example. I'll let Hassan Johnson, who's here, where'd he go? He's back there. So Hassan has his own version of disruption that's going on straight from Austin, Texas. So he came up here with me today, and I'll let him talk about that if you want to catch him afterwards. These are the founders that we had in our program. And this is their background. Extremely diverse group, as you can see, just by looking at the faces. If you look at their backgrounds, you see very impressive, very diverse as well. There are a lot more people like this and there are people like this in this room. And so don't let anyone tell you that they don't exist. And every time I put this slide up in front of people, the first reaction that they've had, and I'm talking about investors and large corporations, is, oh my God, this is exciting. Where'd you find them? And I was like, Mars. Like, what the hell you mean? Like, where did I find them? Like, they're here. So program for the year, summer 2012. These are the deadlines. I have cards that I want everyone to take here. They give you all the information, all the basic information. You can go to our website to get all the other stuff that you need about applying. So now what? I'm going to take 60 seconds if that's okay. I really want to cover that slide. I'll come back to it, and maybe let me do this one first because I think this is my last one. So how do we win? You got to raise your visibility and you got to network. This is a fantastic way to start. But you got to be going to the startup weekends. You got to be doing the hackathons. You got to be going to the meetups. You got to get out there and find out where everybody else is. The people that don't look like you, that know some stuff that you don't know, they know people you don't know. That's who we have to connect with. If you're on a college campus, force your students of color to get out and go hang out at the computer lab. Get them out to meet the people that don't look like them, the weirdos, the geeks, and all the stuff that I used to be called and all that kind of thing, because those are the people that have the keys to what they really want to try to do. Become a founder, not just a CEO. I mean, we talked about that a little bit. A lot of people want to be the CEO. It's like, look, there's a lot of people that get very wealthy by being a part of a founding team and then take that capital to make their startup happen. So don't discount that opportunity as well. Use your experience to really get you into a really cool place. Some of my things I have to say to people who are not the entrepreneurs but kind of have an impact on what happens: write a check, sign a deal, or get out of the way. Meaning, if you can't do it, then just tell me. So I don't spend a lot of time asking you and trying to figure out other ways I can present it. If you're not interested, tell me so I can move on. I'm not wasting your time, and you're not wasting mine. So very important. Anything else? Everything else I'll say to everyone: if you're not an entrepreneur, you're involved in the ecosystem. You're involved in the ecosystem if you work at a company and you have the ability to introduce somebody to someone within your company that has the ability to generate business for them. You're part of the ecosystem, and we need you to help. Last thing, a lot of people have heard this statement that, oh, what we need is the next Mark Zuckerberg or whatever. Let me show you how ridiculous that is real quick. This is the most aggressive timeline you can probably find in terms of going from a concept to having an IPO. Most companies don't make it this way, and in most cases it takes a lot longer. This is probably one of the hottest startups ever that can make it through this. You're talking about concept phase, pre-seed, all that kind of stuff. 6 months, you're still trying to find some money to work on your idea. You get seed funding, maybe that lasts you for 9 months. If you make it a Series A, you raise a round from institutional investors, maybe that keeps you alive for another 12 months. But then you got to raise more money. Maybe that keeps you around for 15 months. You got to raise another round. Maybe that's another 18. When it's all said and done, by the time you get to IPO, and that's if you only do 3 rounds. Most cases, we're seeing people doing Ds and Es, sometimes an F. You're talking about 5 years. So 5 years, and I haven't even put the percentages and the likelihood that you can go from this stage to this stage and this stage to this stage. What all this means is that this part has got to get big. We got to put a lot of opportunities into that funnel so that someone at some point comes out down here and creates $1 billion business. So as much as people say they want to see a Mark Zuckerberg, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a whole lot of people that are passionate about creating something that's disruptive so we can see them make their way all the way through this funnel. And we can see what happens. And the fact of the matter is that right now, everyone I talk to, there's not a whole lot of, you can talk to VCs in here, there's not a whole lot of us in here. The only way we're going to really change this is getting in this funnel, getting in the pipeline, and coming through on the back end. So that's it. DreamIt in 5 minutes. I'm done.